Okay. Yeah. Om Shuklambaradharam Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadhanam Dhyayeet Sarvavighnopashantaye Gananaam Tva Ganapatigum Havamahe Kavim Kavinam Upamashravastamam Jyeshthārajam Brahmanam Brahmanaspata Anashranvannotibhis Seedasadhanam Shri Mahaganathipataye Namaha Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam ॐ उद्भवस्थितिसंहारकारिणीं क्लेशहारिणीं सर्वश्रेयस्करीं सीतां नतोऽहं रामवल्लभां यन्मायावशवर्तिविश्वमखिलं ब्रह्मादिदेवासुराः यत्सत्त्वादमृषैव भाति सकलं रज्जौ यथा हेर्भ्रमः यत्सत्त्वादमृषैव भाति सकलं रज्जौ यथा हेर्भ्रमः यत्पादप्लवमेकमेव हि भवां बोधे स्थितिर्षावतां वन्देऽहं तमशेषकारणपरं रामाख्यमीशं हरिं प्रसन्नतां यानगताभिषेकतः तथा न मम्लेवनवासदुःखतः मुखाम्बुजश्रीरघुनन्दनस्य मे सदास्तु सा मञ्जुलमङ्गलप्रदा ॐ रामाय रामभद्राय रामचन्द्राय वेधसे रघुनाथाय नाथाय सीतायाः पतये नमः कूजन्तं राम रामेति मधुरं मधुराक्षरम् आरुह्य कविताशाखां वन्दे वाल्मीकिकोकिलम् अञ्जनानन्दनं वीरं जानकीशोकनाशनं कपीशमक्षहन्तारं वन्दे लङ्काभयङ्करं नमोऽस्तु रामाय सलक्ष्मणाय देव्यै च तस्यै जनकात्मजायै नमोऽस्तु रुद्रेन्द्रयमानिलेभ्यो नमोऽस्तु चन्द्रार्कमरुद्गणेभ्यः ॐ नमः परमहंसास्वादितचरणकमलचिन्मकरन्दाय भक्तजनमानसनिवासाय श्रीरामचन्द्राय ॐ. So we have finished Balakanda by Sri Rama's grace, and we are attempting to start Ayodhya Kanda. So let's see, at least if this in this attempt, whether Sri Rama will allow us. So I invoke Sri Rama's grace in successful beginning and conclusion of Ayodhya Kanda also. So as I was saying, Valmiki asked for some qualities in a person who should be currently around, he should be living, and he should be having these 16 qualities, he said. And then that is there any person like that? So kon like that. So kon vasmin sampratam loke gunavan kascha viryavan, beginning from there about 16 qualities Valmiki mentions, and in reply Narada shows points towards Rama, and he says yes, there is one Ikshvaku Kula Prabhavaha Ramo Nama Janai Shrutaha. So he says there is one Rama now ruling over his son of Dasharatha, etc. And then Narada also mentions some qualities in Rama. So I was saying that those first 20 shlokas of Balakanda, it will be good if periodically you keep reading, it's good, and then you can connect with what is happening, what has happened, etc., and what is so in a long story is ahead for us. So in that entire story you can see how Rama is behaving, etc., and it will tally with what Valmiki asked. So that is because that was his purpose in asking, and in reply Ramakatha came, so you will be able to enjoy the story more. So for example, I was telling in just the previous episode that we saw of Parashurama, so one of the qualities that Valmiki asked was Atmavan Kaha Jitakrodhaha. So who is Atmavan, and who is Atmavan, and who is Jitakrodha? Such qualities I want, he says. So Atmavan, we saw that it meant self-composed. So he has his manas under his control. And then Jita Krodhaha, so he doesn't give in to anger, he doesn't give in to rage. So he has anger also under control. When he wants to display, he will display it. So this we saw very nicely in Parashurama's episode. Parashurama, even though very incitingly he says, so he says, as though if you are a man enough, you do it, we say something like that. Parashurama also said, if you are a Kshatriya, so you better do this. So in that sense, he says, Kshatra Dharmam Puraskritya Grinhishwa Dhanuruttamam. So if you are a Kshatriya, then take hold this dhanush, let me see what your prowess is, something like that, which Parashurama says. And then Rama, Valmiki describes there, so Gauravad yantrita kathaha. So Rama was angry, that also he says Sankruddhaha, but he doesn't express it. Why? Because out of respect for his father who's around, in front of his father he should not show his prowess or anger and things like that. So Gauravad yantrita kathaha, Valmiki says, to Sankruddhaha api Gauravad yantrita kathaha. And then very nicely Rama, how composedly, calmly he replies back. He says, Viryahina mivashaktam Kshatra dharmena bhargava. Hey Bhargava Parashurama, you might be looking at me as somebody who's Viryahina and Ashakta, somebody who doesn't have any power, prowess, etc. You might be looking at me as a coward. but then this is because I am following my Kshatriya dharma and I am not showing my anger towards you who are a Brahmana. So Viryahinam iva shaktam, that is Kshatriya dharmena Viryahinam iva, Kshatriya dharmena ashaktam iva aham, I am behaving towards you, hey Bhargava, he says. So that shows that Rama satisfied at least there, and then hereafter also, so that Atmavan, Jitakrodhaha, etc., those qualities. Similarly, so I was also saying Vishnuna Sadrishaha Virye, so Dhata Ripunishudanaha, all these things. Vishnuna Sadrishaha Virye also he showed, in Parashurama's episode. Similarly, Dhata Ripunishudanaha, Prajapati Samas Shriman, Dhata Ripunishudanaha, there Prajapati, Dhata means Chaturmukha Brahma, Prajapati, and Dhata is nourisher, one who nourishes you. So like that, he kept people happy, in Ayodhya, people of Ayodhya. So all the citizens, Dasharatha, Brahmanas, traders, everybody were happy. Valmiki said in just the previous sarga, the last sarga of Balakanda we have seen. So Ramasya Shila Vrittena Sarvam Vishayavasinaha Pritaha. Everybody by Rama's conduct, Shila Vrittena, everybody were happy. Pritaha. They were made happy by Rama's conduct, he says. This is what Tilakakara interpreted as Samarthaha. I was saying Samarthaha, Vidwan Kaha, Samarthascha Kashchaika Priyadarshanaha. When Valmiki asked, there Samarthaha Tilakakara said, so Samarthaha is Laukika Vyavahare Prajaranjanadau Chaturyam Samarthyam. Samarthyam Tilakakara interpreted as in Laukika Vyavahara, that is in day-to-day affairs and in keeping people happy. Prajaranjanadau Cha Chaturyam, that expertise, that is called Samarthyam, Tilakakara said, and that kind of Samarthyam Rama displayed here also in Parashurama's episode. Now I want to make some comments on this Samarthyam, Samarthaha, and I am taking recourse to many Mahatmas that I have heard and read, beginning from Shiromani Kara itself. Samarthaha, there Shiromani Kara explained, and we have seen also, I suppose. So Samarthaha is Aghatita Ghatana Patiyan, that is one who can cause even something that is apparently impossible, even impossible deeds he can perform. That is what Samarthaha was explained as by Shiromani Kara. So this I want to explain in the context of Parashurama's Jivan Mukti, So I wanted to explain this, in fact, even there, but then already we were hurrying up. I was hurrying up because I wanted to come to Ayodhya Kanda quickly, and then always it is good to go back a little in the story and then keep discussing. That's how Valmiki also starts his Ayodhya Kanda. By the way, we have to read that verse. So let me read the verse before I proceed. So Valmiki also goes a little back into the story and starts even his Ayodhya Kanda. So Atha Shrimad Valmiki Ramayane Ayodhya Kandam Atha Pratama Sargaha Gachata Matula Kulam Bharatena Tadanagha Shatrughno Nitya Shatrughno Nitah Priti Purassaraha. So I was saying it's a very beautiful shloka. We will see it. God permits, in today's session itself we will see. But coming back to Parashurama's story and Samarthyam, you see what did Valmiki say there? So Rama destroyed all the Punya Lokas of Parashurama with that arrow, that Vaishnava Chapa and then Vaishnava Astra. With them he mounted that Astra on that bow, and then he released it towards all the Punya Lokas, towards the Punyam that Parashurama earned. He released that arrow towards it and destroyed all the Punya karmas of Parashurama, and then Parashurama attained Atmagati. Tilakakara said, Valmiki said, Jagama Atmagatim Prabhuhu. So Tilakakara, how did he explain Atmagati? This also I told you. Atmagati means Tattvajnanam, Tilakakara said. So very nicely, Parashurama attained Tattvajnanam and therefore Jivan Mukti also. So that is how Parashurama's story ended, he says. Now, this destroying of Punya Lokas and Samarthaha, I want to talk about a little. Because you people are interested in a little Vedanta also, so I am telling this. So according to Purva Mimamsakas, there is one scheme that they have, which is their explanation of moksha. They also say actually moksha is Atmani Avasthanam, in your Swatma. So establishing in yourself is also is their definition of moksha also. But then their nature of self, there is jada, etc. Such things, problems are there. And then how is that possible? How Swatmani Avasthanam can be attained? That also they have kind of a scheme they have. So what is the scheme that they have? First, I'm telling you the scheme, and then of course I will tell you how am I connecting that here also. And then that scheme obviously is criticized. So this is very nicely criticized by Shankara in his Upodghata Bhashyam of Taittiriya Upanishad. And then Sureshwaracharya also starts his Naishkarmya Siddhi by criticizing this scheme. Be that as it may, so we know that of various kinds of karmas, you can classify them as what? 4-5 types of karmas, you know. So Nishiddha karma, something that you should not do, prohibition. If you perform Nishiddha karma, then you have to do Prayashchitta karma. So Nishiddha, Prayashchitta, then Kamya karma. Kamya karma is if you desire a result, then Veda has said, if this is the desire that you have, so you perform this karma. Veda did not anywhere say that you are the karta, mind you. So Veda never mandated the karta. Veda only mandated the karma. The kriya it has mandated. Nowhere has the karta been mandated. On top of it, Veda clearly says you are akarta, abhokta, etc. So this is like, you know, you have the desire. And then Veda is saying, whereas these Mimamsaka says, because the Vedas are saying, I am having this desire and doing this karma, which is obviously not so right, and Shankara criticizes that also. So this is like Swamiji Tattvavedantaji explains this nicely. Suppose you want to build a house, then you will employ some masons and all that, you know. You don't go to him and say, you are a mason, come and do this. So he's ready there. He considers himself a mason and he's standing there. Then you will go and tell him, please help me in constructing the house. Something like that. This person is waiting as the karta. He wants to do something. He takes himself to be the karta because he sees a lack in him and he wants to perform some action to fulfill his sense of lack. So to get some purnatvam, he's standing there to do something. Then Veda goes and says, okay, do this karma slowly. By introducing karma, then it introduces through karma. If you keep on doing, vairagya will come to you automatically at some point in time. Then this thinking person will get vairagyam even quickly perhaps, and then it will take you to jnanam. Be that as it may, the Purvamimamsakas say, so of this, so their way of Swatmani Avasthanam is, so you don't perform Nishiddha karmas, stop performing Nishiddha karmas. Obviously, then there is no need to perform any Prayashchitta karma. Nishiddha karmas you stop, Prayashchitta karmas you stop, Kamya karmas also you stop. I was telling, so there is no karta mandated in the Vedas. I was saying, be that as it may, so Kamya karmas also you don't do. Now what is remaining? Nitya and Naimittika karmas are remaining. Now in this Nitya and Naimittika karmas, there are two schools within Mimamsakas also. So one is called, I think, Aika Bhavika Paksha. This Anandagiri calls it Aika Bhavika Paksha. So in Aika Bhavika Paksha, they says all the Sanchita karma together, all are accumulated karmas together give you this life, they say. That is their Paksha, their school. One school among Mimamsakas, they say this is the way that we get this Janma, all karmas together. That is obviously Shankara rejects it outright. He says that's not possible because various karmas give various results and sometimes the results are contradictory. Within this Janma, it's not possible. So you have done two Papa karmas in your past. One karma wanted you to have stomachache by eating, let's say, some food that humans eat. And then some other karma said you have to eat thorns or something like that. So the thorns eating is possible only in a camel janma. So how can you exhaust that karma here? It's not possible. That Aika Bhavika Paksha is clearly refuted. So Nitya Naimittika karmas, they say they will destroy by performing Nitya Naimittika karmas, that past karmas will be destroyed. All past karmas together give this body, and those past karmas are destroyed by Nitya Naimittika karmas. They say that is also not possible. Shankara, and it's obviously logically it's not possible, and that's why Shankara refutes it there. Then they bring up another argument, you know. So what do they say is, so they say, okay, Nitya Naimittika karmas. So actually in the Aika Bhavika Paksha, they say the past karmas are exhausted by suffering. So all my past karmas in this life, I suffer them, they get exhausted. So that is being refuted. Then this Paksha comes that Nitya Naimittika karmas you keep performing, so your past deeds get exhausted. So as a counter to your past deeds, Nitya Naimittika karmas you do, your past deeds are countered, exhausted. So to this also Shankara has a reply. See, Shankara's knowledge is something that we cannot even fathom, you know. So at that small age, God knows how many shastras he has studied and all that. So Shankara's greatness is that he will teach Mimamsa to Mimamsakas, he will teach Nyaya to Nayayikas. First he will criticize them, then he will say, see, I know what your intention is, so to put your intention, you better express it this way. He will teach them, then they will use that way and raise a Purvapaksha, that also he will criticize. So anyway, then he will say, okay, then what you should tell is, say Nitya Naimittika karmas will destroy the past karmas that I have, phalam that is to be experienced. So that also Shankara criticizes and says, see, in the past Sanchita karma that you have and the Prarabdha karma, there is punyam also and papam also. You can say papam will be destroyed by nitya naimittika karma, by performing nitya naimittika karma, whereas punyam can't get destroyed because punyam is also shuddha and nitya naimittika karma is also shuddha. Only between shuddha and ashuddha can there be virodha. So nitya naimittika karma is destroying my past punyam. That question doesn't rise at all, he says, and he refutes it. And then he says, therefore, your entire scheme falls flat. Ayatnataha swatmani avasthanam anupapannam. He says, what you are saying, don't do anything, don't perform any action, or automatically your past karma gets exhausted. Such thing is not tenable, he says. Don't think I'm telling something totally unrelated. I'm going to connect. So at the end you might find it beautiful. I hope my hope is that you might find it beautiful. So there, what is the paksha that is now remaining before Shankara criticizes? He says now this punya karmas will remain. You keep performing nitya naimittika karmas. Papa karmas might be destroyed, but there is no way to destroy punya karmas that is remaining. Then Shankara says, therefore he refutes it. But then Rama has this samarthyam to destroy those punya karmas also. If punya karmas are left, you will get another body, another janma. So that moksha is not possible, that punya karma shesha will be left. So Rama's samarthyam in that Parashurama episode is shown that even your punya karmas are destroyed. Past karmas are destroyed by his own tapascharana, papa karmas. We have seen that all of that. Papa karmas are destroyed by his tapascharana, punya karmas are left over. Now Rama goes and destroys those punya karmas also. And then Vishwamitra attains Swatmani Avasthanam. So that is possible. So even though it is otherwise not possible, Rama can do that also. Samarthaha, Aghatita Ghatana Patiyan. That is Samarthyam. So that is Samarthaha, and Rama is such kind of Samarthyam he has in it, he says. So this also I want to expound a little more. I will do that. So this I was saying, what is otherwise not possible, this exhaustion of punya karmas is not possible, but then Rama does that also in Parashurama's episode. Rama has that power. Why? Because he's an avatara. Avatara has that samarthyam. Avatara itself, he's samartha in the sense that an avatara is aghatita ghatana patiyan. Why? Because avatara, you see, Krishna himself says, Janma karma chame divyam. My janma and my karmas, my actions are divyam. Divyam means prakrita vilakshanam, and then divyam also means anirvachaniyam. You cannot, your logic cannot capture it. How can it be possible? How can punya karmas be destroyed? It has to be experienced. Okay, parpa karmas will go away by nitya naimittika, but punya karmas will remain. Such doubt you can have by logic, but in avatara's case, such logics don't work. So that is called divyam. In fact, if you see in some sense, and the very concept of avatara is not possible. Even an avatara cannot be, still you are seeing it, So what Krishna says in the Gita, Ajopi san avyayatma bhutanam ishwaropi san prakritim swam adhisthaya sambhavami atmamayaya. So ajopi sambhavami, I am actually ajaha, I have no birth. So Parabrahman has no birth, death, etc. Still ajopi, even though ajaha, sambhavami, I am born, I keep taking birth, etc. Ajopi sambhavami, I keep taking birth. Why? This is because this shows that anirvachaniya, how ajopi sambhavami, that is janma atyanta bhava adhikarane janma pratitihi. That is where there is no scope for janma at all. Even there we see a janma. This is exactly what mithya is. Swa atyanta bhava adhikarane pratiyamanatvam mithyatvam we say. So mithyatvam is appearance of a thing in the locus in which it is absolutely non-existent. Swa atyanta bhava adhikarane pratiyamanatvam mithyatvam. So you see the thing in a place where it is absolutely non-existent. Atyanta bhava is there, still you see it. Like that, janma atyanta bhave, atyanta bhava adhikarane pratiyamanatvam. That is this avatara also. Krishna says like this. All that I am saying now, all this that I have been saying is all from Maharaj Sri Swami Akhandananda Saraswati's book, small set of lectures called Avatar Rahasya. So in Avatar Rahasya, he speaks in that there is one chapter called so he discusses avatara from Advaita perspective in that chapter. So this all is picked up from his talk. So that the very concept of avatara is not possible, still you are seeing, that is the divyatvam of avatara. So Janma is divyam and karma is also divyam. So that karma divyatvam Rama has shown in this Parashurama's episode, those punya karmas which are accumulated in your account, which otherwise every other karma phalam you can. So punya karma, papa karma, only two karmas are there in your account, So papa karmas are exhausted by your tapasya, but punya karmas are remaining. Rama can destroy them also. Punya karmas, it looks like logically there is no way but to experience them and get out of them. But then Rama has a way, because he's an avatara, he has the samarthyam to put an end to those punya karmas also. So that is what we have seen in Parashurama's episode. So anything is possible for an avatara. Why? Because an avatara is mithya, So just now I told you, ajopi san sambhavami. So janma atyanta bhava adhikarane pratiyamanatvam. That is this avatara also. A mithya vastu can, you should not bring in emotion here. So avatara is mithya means this jagat itself is mithya. So my teacher keeps telling, so you should have, so you either dismiss God and world together or retain both. So modern people, what do? They dismiss God immediately, but world they retain. They do not have enough vairagya, but then they have a pseudo sense of scientificism, whatever in their mind. So God you cannot see around, they dismiss immediately. You cannot do that. God and world, you have to either dismiss both or don't dismiss anything. So you have to give the same status to them. This is in Jnana, it is like that. You should not bring in sentiment here. So that avatara is mithya, like this jagat is also mithya, and that avatara can do, it's anything is possible. So like a mithya vastu can do anything. That because that mithya vastu itself is not tenable, then that whatever that mithya vastu does is anyway not tenable, but still we see those things, like the standard example of Rajju Sarpa. So that Sarpa itself is not there. Still that Sarpa is giving this person heart attack and he will be admitted in hospital. But how is it possible that non-existent Sarpa, how did it give him heart attack? You do not have an answer. That is Anirvachaniya, we say. Like that Ishvara as avatara is Anirvachaniya. He is Divya. His Janma is Divyam. His Karma is also Divyam. So actually interestingly on this shloka, so Prakritim Swam Adhisthaya Sambhavami Atmamayaya, there Shankara writes in Gita Bhashya. All this I wanted to say yesterday, but then by Rama's grace, yesterday's class didn't happen. Today it is happening, and then I'm able to write down all these things on a page, and then I'm presenting to you. I hope you are not getting confused by what I'm trying to say. I hope these things are clear. So he says there, Mama Maya, there, Prakritim Swam Adhisthaya Sambhavami Atma Mayaya. There Shankara very nicely explains, and then you see how very nicely it relates to Parashurama's episode also here. Shankara says Swam means Swaswamayaya, Swam Prakritim. He says Swam Mama Vaishnavi Mayam Trigunatmikam Yasyaha Vashe Sarvam Jagat Vartate Yaya Mohitam Sat Swam Atmanam Vasudevam Najanati Tam Prakritim Adhishthaya Sambhavami. So I take recourse to, not recourse to, but then I kind of summon that Prakriti, and then with that Prakriti I take this Janma. And then what kind of Prakriti it is? It is that Prakriti which kind of deludes a person from knowing Swatma. That is, instead of knowing that Vasudeva, the Antaryami, Najanati, Yaya Najanati, because of which this person doesn't know his Antaryami, that kind of Maya I summon, and through that Maya I take this recourse of avatara, he's telling. See, Parashurama, what did he say in that Sarga, 76th Sarga? We have seen Akshayam Madhuhantaram Janami Tvam Sureshwaram Dhanushosya Paramarshat Swastitestu Parantapa. So Tvam Akshayam Janami, Parashurama is telling, hey Rama, I have known your Swarupa. Your Swarupa is what? Nirvikara Swarupa. That is Akshaya Swarupa of yours, hey Rama, I have known. That is, that veil of Maya has been dropped, So where that veil of Maya has been dropped, then that Swarupam is very clear. So Yaya Mohitam Sat Najanati. That Yaya Mohitam means Mayaya Mohitam. When that Maya veil is there, this person cannot see the Swarupa. Now he is telling, I have known your Swarupa, He Rama. That means the Maya veil has been removed. The veil of Maya has been removed for Parashurama, and then Parashurama is established in that Tattvajnanam. So established in his self. Now, how is this going to help us? So veil of Maya will be removed for us also. If you take shelter in Ishvara, it is possible for us also to kind of overcome that Maya. That also is said in Bhagavad Gita. Here also Valmiki says, Tatah Pradakshini Kritya Jagama Atmagatim Prabhuhu. In that 76th Sarga, when Parashurama's episode was concluding, Tataha, thereafter, after all that episode happened, then Rama destroyed his Punyalokas, Devatas came and saw all that happened. Thereafter, Tataha Pradakshini Kritya Atmagatim Jagama, that is Tatvajnanam Avaptavan. So Parashurama, there Tilakakara again says Atmagatim, so there Pradakshini Kritya. So Vishwamitra did Pradakshinam to Rama. There also I told you. So mentally he did Pradakshinam, not physically, because physically he's a Kshatriya, Rama's Kshatriya and he's a Brahmana. All this Tilakakara said there. There he nicely says Antaryamittvena Jnanat Pradakshina Karanam. Why did Parashurama did Pradakshinam, and how come he did Pradakshinam? So there Pradakshinam means to have the jnanam that this Rama is my Antaryami. Antaryamittvena Jnanat Pradakshina Karanam. And then Jagama Atmagatim Prabhuhu. That Prabhuhu also Tilakakara says Brahmatvena Sarvaloka Prabhutvam. Vishwamitra got established in Atma Swarupa, which is nothing but Brahman, and because he has been established in Brahman, he is now as good as the Lord of the world, because Brahman is the Adhisthana of this Jagat, he says. Now that Antaryami, one who resides in everyone, that Vishwamitra has known, Tilakakara is saying. You see very nicely, you can connect this with what is happening in Gita. Ishvara and Krishna says in Gita 18th chapter, very famous shloka, Ishvara Sarva Bhutanam Hriddeshe Arjuna Tishtati Brahmayan Sarvabhutani Yantrarudhani Mayaya Tameva Sharanam Gacha Sarva Bhavena Bharata Tat Prasadat Param Shantim Sthanam Prapsasi Shashvatam. He Arjuna, take refuge in that Ishvara. What kind of Ishvara? Sarva Bhutanam Hriddeshe Tishtati. He Arjuna, that Ishvara resides in everybody's hearts. Hriddeshe Tishtati. Tameva Sharanam Gacha. Take recourse to that Ishvara. He Arjuna, take Sharanagati in him. Then your so Tameva Sharanangacha Sarva Bhavena Bharata Tat Prasadat Param Shantim Shashvatam Prapsyasi. Hey Arjuna, that great Shanti, the great beatitude, the great Shanti you will obtain, hey Arjuna, by taking recourse to him who is your Antaryami. Similarly, exactly what is happening with Parashurama's case. Parashurama knew Rama is the Antaryami, Hriddeshe, Sarvabhutanam Hriddeshe Tishtati, who? Antaryami. So one who resides in your heart. So Parashurama has known it. So take refuge in him, hey Arjuna, and your Maya will be removed, Krishna is saying. Now Krishna also promises, please bear with me, maybe I'm just showcasing kind of my, doing a show off here, but then I think it might fall in place. Let's see. Please bear with me for some time. Krishna also promises in Bhagavad Gita. So what is that? In 12th chapter, Arjuna gets a doubt, because just immediately in the 11th chapter, Krishna showed Vishwarupa Sandarshana Yoga, it's called. So Krishna showed Vishwarupam to Arjuna. Then Arjuna gets a doubt. So you have been praising Jnanam for some time. Now you are showing me this Vishwarupa and then Upasana, all that you have said. So there in 11th chapter conclusion also it comes. So you concentrate your mind on me and such things, on this Rupam that I have shown. So Vishwarupam means looking at God in everything. So that is Saguna Upasana only. So such things you do, Krishna says. Then Arjuna gets a doubt. So he says, who is the greater of those two people? So I don't remember the shloka now. Ke Yogavittamaha. So between these Saguna Upasakas and Nirguna Upasakas, hey Krishna, who is greater? Arjuna asks. So Arjuna thinks these are two things that you can compare and then have a degree of comparison. One is greater and the other is not greater. Krishna doesn't answer that way. Krishna says, you see, Kleshodhikaras, what is that? Kleshodhikataraha tesham avyaktasakta chetasam. Hey Arjuna, that avyaktasakta chetasa, there, that is Nirguna Brahma. To think and contemplate on Nirguna Brahman is kleshaha adhikataraha tesham. For people who want to contemplate on that Nirguna Brahma, there is a lot of difficulty apa kleshaha adhikataraha. So you don't bother about it. I am telling you another marga which gives you the same result, he is saying. So what you should do, manmana bhava madbhaktaha madhyaji mam namaskuru, etc. he says. And then he says, this is a more famous shloka also, tesham aham samudharta mrityu samsara sagarat bhavami nachirat partha mayyaveshita chetasam. So mayyaveshita chetasam aham mrityu samsara sagarat samudharta. Hey Arjuna, for those people who kind of invest their minds in me, mayyaveshita chetasam, aham mrityu samsara sagarat samudharta. So nachira, so very quickly I will immediately rescue them from this samsara sagara. Hey Arjuna, tesham, there tesham, I told you, tesham is very important there. Who's the tesham? Those people who cannot concentrate their minds on nirguna brahma. So them I will rescue immediately. All that you have to do is you invest, concentrate your, put your mind in me. In me means what here? That Vishwarupa that I have shown, etc. So in that you keep your attention, your focus, your meditation on me, here Arjuna, and then achirat, nachirat, mrityu samsara sagarat, aham samudharta, immediately, samudharta bhavami, immediately I will raise them up from that samsara sagara. So how do you invest your mind in Ishvara so that he can lift you from mrityu samsara sagara? Because you cannot, at least people like me cannot contemplate easily on Nirguna Brahman, but then the samsara sagara is troubling. Something has to be done. We have to take recourse to Ishvara, then take recourse to Ishvara, then take Sharanagati. How is all that possible? By listening, contemplating on Ishvara's gunas, it is possible. If you keep listening to more and more of his story, his charitram, his gunas, these things are possible, that you can easily invest your mind in Ishvara by listening to his gunas. Interestingly, one last point I remembered, I will tell you from that Avatar Rahasya, that chapter, Avatar ek Advaiti ke drishti mein, I think something like that, there is a chapter. He says, Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. Krishna says there, So Maharaj Ji explains that. He explains Paritranaya sadhunam in 2 chapters separately. So that chapter itself is called an explanation of Paritranaya sadhunam, etc. So in that he says Paritranaya sadhunam means what? Sadhu means those who have Shuddha Antahkarana. To rescue those people who have Shuddha Antahkarana. Rescue from what? This Mrityu Samsara Sagarat Paritranaya. So and then Vinashaya Dushkrutam there. So Maharaj Ji very nicely puts it. It's a book, small book, that it's about just about 100 pages. So if you people can read Hindi, perhaps you should read that book also. So that book is just about 92-93 pages. So there Vinashaya cha Dushkritam. Usually we say to rescue sadhus and to destroy what should I say, asuras, etc. Maharaj Ji says no, sadhu means a Shuddhantahkarana person, to rescue him. But what about these people who do not have Shuddhantahkarana? Vinashaya cha Dushkritam, their durbuddhi I will remove. He is telling, I will remove that ashuddhatvam in their antahkarana. For that reason also I have taken avatara. Sambhavami yuge yuge. Again and again I will come here. I will take an avatara, so that by listening to my stories, they can invest their mind in me. They can place their mind in me, in my story, in my namam, in my namas, etc. So that those who have a Shuddhantahkaranam will be removed, will be protected, or rather will be rescued from the samsara sagara. And those who do not have Shuddhantahkaranam, they are also not left out. For them I will do extra work. That is, I will first make their mind pure, and then Paritranaya sadhunam anyway is there. Vinashaya dushkritam is there. I will remove their durbuddhi, and then immediately I will rescue them from the samsara sagara also, Krishna says. So Valmiki has perhaps all this in mind, and that's why if you observe, every sarga of Rama, every kanda of Ramayana starts with glories of either Bhagavan or Bhakta. Similar is the case with Ayodhya Kanda. Valmiki Ramayana's Balakandam you have seen, where glory of Rama is so very well discussed. First chapter in Ayodhya Kanda also, first chapter, glories of Rama is so extensively discussed. Why? So that we can invest our mind in Rama. What is the benefit if you invest your mind in Rama? Tesham aham samudharta mrityu samsara sagarat bhavami nachirat partha maya veshita chetasam. So that you can invest your mind in Ishvara, in Rama, so that he will rescue you from this samsara. See, Valmiki is so kind. That's why he starts every sarga of every kanda, first sarga of every kanda, with gunas of Ishvara, gunas of Rama. He starts Ayodhya Kanda also like that, Aranya Kanda also. So either Bhagavan or Bhakta, So glory of Bhakta is nothing but glory of Bhagavan. A Bhakta's glory is also Bhagavan's glory only. That's why if you have ever heard Hanuman Chalisa, very interesting. If you observe how Tulsidas starts Hanuman Chalisa, he says, Shri Guru Charan Saroj Raj Nijaman Mukuru Sudhar Varnau Raghuvar Vimal Charit Bimal jas jo dayak phaluchari. He says, I am going to describe the glory of Rama. Raghuvar Vimal Charita Baranao. I will do a Varnana of Raghuvara's Charita, that is Rama's Charita. But what does he end up describing? He describes Hanuman's glory. So Hanuman's glory is nothing but Rama's glory, you know. So like that, Aranya Kanda starts with the praise of Maharshis. So there Rama sees the Tapasashrama Mandalam, Pravishyatu Maharanyam Dandakaranyam Atmavan Ramo Dadarsha Durdharshaha Tapasashrama Mandalam. So that Tapasashrama, he sees those rishis, their nature is praised, and then rishis also say you have to protect us, He Rama. And then Valmiki describes their nature, their how those rishis, their heart was and all. That is how their antahkarana was, such their nature, Swabhava is described. Similarly, Kishkindha Kanda, of course, in Kishkindha Kanda, the first sarga is Rama's own Vilapa, a little more is going on. That's a very heavy episode in Ramayana. So Valmiki perhaps has some kind of a hangover, so that is going on. But immediately in the second chapter, Hanuman's glories are described in the second chapter of Kishkindha Kanda. Sundara Kanda, first sarga, no wonders or Rama's glory, Hanuman's glory. Externally, it is all Hanuman's glory, but Hanuman all through will be singing Rama's glory. In Sundara Kanda's first sarga and then Yuddha Kanda's first sarga also, there is glory of Hanuman. So either Bhagavan's Prashasti or Bhakta's Prashasti, Valmiki starts every Kanda, the first sarga of every Kanda, he has glories of either Bhagavan or Bhagavatas. Both are same. Sri Ramakrishna used to say, Bhagavat, Bhakt, Bhagwan, Ek. That is Bhagavan, Bhagavatam, his story, and his Bhaktas. All three are one and the same, he used to say. So that is what Valmiki also does, so that out of compassion for us, so that we can invest by listening to those glories more and more. See, they say you do Namasmaranam and then Namajapam, and then Bhagavan will protect you. But our mind is so fickling, we cannot easily keep our mind in that Namajapam also, you know. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu very nicely says, will I be able to remember the shloka? Nam akari bahudha nija sarva shaktihi tatrarpita. So niyamitaha smarane nakalaha etadrishi tava kripa bhagavan. Hey Bhagavan, your kripa etadrishi tava kripa. See how magnanimous your kripa is. Nam akari bahudha. Many names you created for yourself. How? By taking all these avatars, etc. So Namnam Akari Bahudha Nija Sarva Shakti Tatrarpita. So your entire Shakti in each of those names you have kind of hidden, or what should I say? You have imposed your entire Shakti in each of those names. And then further magnanimity. Smarane Nakalaha Niyamitaha. Niyamitaha Smarane Nakalaha. Hey Bhagavan, you did not even put any rules on when you can take your name. So Bhagavan Nama, especially Rama Nama, you know, in death, in happiness, in sorrow, in wedding, everywhere Rama's name is taken. So there is no Nishiddha Kalam for taking Bhagavan's Nama. So Smarane Kalaha Naniyamitaha Etadrishi Tava Kripa. But then he says, Mamapi Durdaiva Midrisham. But look at my kind of misfortune. Durdaiva Midrisham Ihajane Nanuragaha. See, so much you have done for me. Still, my mind is such, my Durdaivam. Durdaivam means my bad luck, my misfortune is such that na jane anuragaha. So I am not still getting any ruchi in your name. Hey Bhagavan, look at my mind's Durdaivam also. So look at its what should I say? Its Swabhava is like that. Even though you are so magnanimous, you have given names in all names, your entire Shakti potency you have invested, you have kept there, and then you have not kept any rules and regulations also for taking your name, but my mind doesn't get any ruchi in them. Look at me, he says. So for that also, for that ruchi in Bhagavan Nama also, you should be able to listen to Bhagavan's gunas, and then all his charitram, etc. Then easily it makes these things easier for us. In smoothly we will be able to appreciate Bhagwan's Nama, etc. Therefore, Valmiki starts all his, like I've been saying, every sarga, first sarga of every kanda starts with what should I say, Bhagavan or Bhakta's glories. Now a little more I will speak about Ayodhya Kanda and then finish. Perhaps I will just tell briefly meaning of the first shloka and then we will see later, because on first day you should do the first shloka also. So this Ayodhya Kanda itself, like I said, starts with Rama's glories, and then Ayodhya Kanda is the high point, or the, what should I say, twist in the plot of the entire story. The twist comes here. that day had Kaikeyi not asked for Rama's Vanavasa, then there would have been no Rama. In fact, in every event of Ramayana, you can say that if that did not happen, then there would not have been Ramayana. But that is a twist in the plot, twist in the tale takes place here. But then, like I was saying yesterday also, Ayodhya Kanda is the high point in Dharma Vichara, and then Ayodhya Kanda is also the high point in human relationships. In entire world literature, perhaps how human relationships are, how fickle they are, and then also how strong they are, how they should be and how they should not be. Both these things are the strain all through Ramayana. I said this even in my introduction to Ramayana itself in the beginning. Entire Ramayana, you will see Valmiki presents a pair of relationships everywhere, like Sita, Rama. He shows Rama, Lakshmana, he shows for brothers. Then he also shows Vali, Sugriva, and Ravana and Vibhishana. So like that, Sita, Rama, he shows, and then he shows Tara, Vali, and so what is her name? So Tara, Vali. There is Sugriva's wife Ruma. So Ruma, Tara, and Sugriva, how are they? Vali, how are they behaving? All the story. Lakshmana's behavior towards Sita, very beautifully he shows in Kishkindha Kanda the contrast between how Sugriva looked upon his brother's elder brother's wife, that is Tara, and then how Lakshmana looks at Sita. Very beautifully he shows that in Kishkindha Kanda. So everywhere he shows that common strain, how people should be and how people should not be. So Ramavat Vartitavyam na Ravanavat, I told you, is a common principle. Entire Ramayana, if you have to just in one phrase you have to say, then you have to say you have to behave like Rama and not like Ravana. So even in Ayodhya Kanda, there is much more depth in portraying human relationships, we will see. And then simultaneity that Valmiki shows in Ayodhya Kanda is also unparalleled, not only by others in other works of poetry, but even by Valmiki in other Kandas. So much simultaneity that Valmiki shows here. Simultaneity means what? Happy incidents and sad incidents, conspiracies, all these also will be happening simultaneously in life. Well, Kaikeyi is in Kaikeyi's Mandira, all this conspiracy will be going on. Manthara will be feeding poison into Kaikeyi's mind. And Kaikeyi, how she reveals her heart, the desires of her heart, poisonous desires of her heart to Dasharatha. Dasharatha calls Rama and then he tells him all these things, how that is happening on one end. On the other end, all the Pattabhishekam arrangements, they are happening alternatively. He shows this, he shows that. Like that, even when Rama goes to Vanavasa, Rama happily is in the Vanavasa. But then here his father died and he did not know completely. And Rama is happily living till then. Then Bharata's grief. And then Bharata comes and reports to Rama. All that, how he shifts from one episode to another episode shows how fleeting situations are, how Sukha and Dukha are always part of our life. This shift of scenes, Valmiki nicely shows in Aranya Kanda also. But then in Aranya Kanda, so he shows how Sita is taken away by Ravana and kept in Ashokavana. Then he describes that immediately. Now he comes back to Rama's episode. So he comes back a little in time and says how while this episode of Sita Apaharanam was happening, Rama was already searching for Sita and he was, inconsolably sad he was. So there also he shifts posts and shows, but then there both Sita and Rama, in both situations, everybody is sad. But then in Ayodhya Kanda itself, you have that situation where one set of people are happily celebrating things, another set of people are immersed in misery, and then conspiracies and things like nobody even knows that these things are going on. So Bhartrhari has a nice shloka on this. It is attributed to Bhartrhari because in some manuscript, in some printed books also this is not found, but there is a shloka. No problem if you say it's by Bhartrhari also. So what is that shloka? Kvachid Veenanadaha, Kvachidapi cha haheti ruditam, Kvachid Vidvadgoshti, Kvachidapi Suramatta Kalahaha, Kvachid Rama Ramyaha, Kvachidapi Galat Kushtavapushaha, Najane Samsarah Kim Amrutamayaha, Kim Vishamayaha. Bhartrhari says, I don't know, is this samsara a happy place or is it a poisonous place? Kim Amrutamayaha, a very happy place to be in, or Kim Vishamayaha, very sad, sorry place to be in, a place that you should completely avoid. I don't know why he says there is simultaneity in life. How? Kvachid Veenanadaha, somewhere people are very nicely enjoying music, dance, etc. Veenanadaha, Kvachidapi haheti ruditam. So so much dukkham has happened to me. Some people will be crying. At the same time, if you see in this world, it is like that. As even we are talking, some people might be married, their marriage must be happening, some death also must be happening, you know. So both are happening simultaneously, and that very nicely Valmiki captures in Ayodhya Kanda, that simultaneity. Of course, in different chapters, in one chapter, immediately he will shift post to show how otherwise people are. So Kvachit Veenanadaha, Kvachidapi Haheti Ruditam, people are crying ha ha, etc. So Kvachit Vidvat Goshti, somewhere very nice discussions, Shastra, Charcha is going on very nicely, but then somewhere Suramatta Kalahaha, some people drink toddy, some people drink alcohol, etc. and fighting. Somewhere that Kalaha is people are abusing each other and fighting, fists, blows, etc. But then somewhere people Vidvat Goshti, Shastra Charcha is happening, etc. Kvachid Rama Ramyaha, somewhere very beautiful women are there, so beautiful people are there, and then somewhere else Galat Pushta Pushaha, so that skin, you know, atrophied skin, and then the diseases, etc., diseased bodies also there simultaneously. It's not that this person becomes like that later, as even some people are like this happy, some people are sad also, and it is so if you take a step back and observe these things, you will see that these things are happening simultaneously in life, that Valmiki very nicely shows in Ayodhya Kanda, and that is what he says also, Bhartrahari na jane samsaraha kim amritamayaha kim vishamayaha. So this is what I wanted to build as an introduction to Ayodhya Kanda. Another thing, I just recited that shloka in the beginning also. With that, I'll explain that shloka and then give a very brief meaning to that first shloka of Ayodhya Kanda, and then we will stop for today. That shloka by Tulsidas. So Tulsidas, at the beginning of every Kanda of his, he writes some Sanskrit shlokas. So in the beginning, for some chapters, he writes shlokas on Shiva also. For Ayodhya Kanda also, he writes shloka on Shiva. And then people say, why did he write shloka on Shiva for Ayodhya Kanda? Because so much disturbing events, you know, Valmiki or Tulsidas, anybody, for us to even read them is very troubling, and those people have to see them in their vision and describe. So that only Shiva can give that composure to you, that he could even take in poison in him. So that kind of strength Shiva can only bless him with. Therefore he prays Shiva. Be that as it may, the beautiful shloka he writes on Rama, that spirit even Valmiki shows here in Ayodhya Kanda. That is, what is that shloka? Prasannatam yana gatabhishekataha tathana mamle vanavasa dukkhataha mukhambujaha mukhambujashri raghunandanasya me sadastu sa manjula mangala prada. So that mukhambujashri, the beauty of the lotus face of Rama. So he's praying to not to Rama, not to Rama's face, but to the beauty of Rama's face. Mukhambuja Shrihi Raghunandanasya. Raghunandanasya Mukhambuja Shrihi Sadastu Manjula Mangala Prada. So Sadastu, always may it be Sa Mukhambuja Shrihi, that beauty of Shri Rama's face, may it always be for our auspiciousness. And what is that glory of Rama's beauty of Rama's face? Mukhambuja Shrihi. How is it that Shri, that beauty was not you know, it was not extravagant when the Pattabhisheka was announced. Prasannatam yana gataha abhishekataha. Because of Pattabhisheka, it did not become prasanna, extravagant, it did not become. The same composure Rama continued. Tathana mamle vanavasa dukkhataha. Immediately, within a few hours, Rama was first told that tomorrow is your coronation. In a few hours, he is told that tomorrow you have to go for Vanavasa. For immediately Rama is ready and he will leave. He says, I'm going right now, I'm going to leave. So that immediately when he was told, still Tathana Mamla, that is that, what should I say, that shrinking. There was no shrinking to that beauty of Rama's face when this news of Vanavasa also was broken to him. That is the composure that Rama had. So may we all also meditate on that composure of Rama's face, that beauty of Rama's face, which was neither elated or destroyed, respectively, with the Pattabhisheka news or with Vanavasa's news. That is Shri Rama's beauty and his greatness also, his Gambhiryam, you know. So that also Valmiki asked, Narada described. So Samudra iva Gambhirya, he said. All this we will see going ahead. Let me just briefly mention that it's a very beautiful shloka, the first shloka of Ayodhya Kanda. Going forward, so far I kind of had a pratigna. I did not tell you people, but I had the pratigna for myself. That is to complete, if there is a sarga within 30 shlokas, let us finish that sarga that day itself. And in the ending, you must have noticed I was doing two sargas a day, because my interest was to very quickly come to Ayodhya Kanda. Not that I have compromised on what I wanted to say or what was there in the commentaries, at least in Tilakakara and Shiromani Kara's commentaries, and Govindaraja also anyway. So I wanted to quickly come to Ayodhya Kanda. It's a beautiful Kanda it is. So here henceforth we might not be doing like that. So because there might be a lot to discuss, there might be a lot of observations that you people also might want to make. You are welcome to make. You should be prepared. So I told you that homework, it's not that you do it mechanically, that I have to read these 20 shlokas, not like that, but it's good to keep thinking of those gunas, you keep them in the background as even you are reading Valmiki Ramayana henceforth. So let me just briefly mention that shloka, that is Gachata Matula Kulam Bharatena Tadanaghaha Shatrughnaha Nitya Shatrughnaha Nitaha Preeti Puraskritaha. To very briefly put, there is lot of beautiful grammar in this shloka, and yesterday I was thinking, like I was saying yesterday also, since morning I was thinking on that shloka, why did Valmiki write like this? He could have written it in a more simple way. And then I went and asked Swamiji also. All that I will tell you tomorrow. I have some thoughts also on why he wrote that shloka like that. But simply put, what it means is, while Bharata was going to his Matula Kulam, that is his mama's house, his mama, what is his name, Yudhajit was standing there. He was there. In fact, there also Dasharatha says, he doesn't say Bharata, Yudhajit has come to take you, please go with him. Dasharatha did not say like that. He says, Ayam Kekaya Rajasya Putro Vasati Putraka Twam Netum Agataha Viraha Yudhajit Matulastava. Hey Bharata, this Yudhajit has come. He's sitting here, Agataha, and he's a Vasati. He's staying here. He came for the wedding, and then he's staying there after the wedding for a few days. And then he's telling, so Twam Netum Agataha, he has come to take you, hey Putraka, hey dear Bharata, hey son. So hey dear son, so what should we do about it? So Dasharatha did not say you go, because he did not have that mouth to say go, because he loved Bharata. Everybody, in fact, in Ayodhya Kanda, in the second or third shloka itself, Valmiki will say that all the four sons are extremely dear to Dasharatha. He did not want to part with Bharata, and he knew if Bharata has to go, Shatrughna also will go. So two sons he did not want to part with. Still that Yudhajit is sitting, so he says Bharata. So then Valmiki says that Bharata also went. He understood his father's intention, and then he went along with his mama. All that happened, he went away, and then Rama was happily living with Sita, serving his mother, father, etc., and then taking care of children. All that. So Bharata's going already over, but then Valmiki is bringing it back once again. So Gachata Matula Kulam, while Bharata was going, he's going back in the story and saying how far he's going. 12 years back he's going in the story. Mind you, Balakanda ends at a time when, so Rama is 27-28 years old. Till that story was over, and Ayodhya Kanda starts at a time when Rama is 27-28 years old. So that is how the story you should see. So he goes back so much in time, and then that time, you remember I told you in the previous sarga, while Bharata was going to his Matula Kulam, to his mama's house, he took Shatrughna also with him. That is what this shloka simply means. Matula Kulam Gachata Bharatena, by Bharata who was prepared to go to his Matula Kulam, his mama's place. Shatrughnaha Nitaha, Shatrughna also was taken by him. What kind of Shatrughna? Nitya Shatrughnaha. So Shatrughna, so he was Shatrughna in name, but even in spirit, Nitya Shatrughnaha. His Nitya Shatrus, that is Arishad Varga, we say, Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya are our Nitya enemies. So Dehe Tishtanti Taskaraha. These people are there within us, always within us. These people are their enemies. Those enemies he has won over. That Shatrughnaha Nitaha. He was taken along with. He was taken along by Bharata, and then Shatrughna also was not sad. Sadly, he was taken. Nitaha means that dragged, meaning also that Chaya is there. Though Nitaha means taken along with. So he was not dragged away with sorrow, but Preeti Puraskritaha. Shatrughna also was extremely happy to go with Bharata. In fact, Shatrughna and Bharata are like always together, and Rama and Lakshmana always together. That love between Shatrughna and Bharata, in my very humble opinion, is what is described in the way Valmiki has written that first shloka, and how that is the case, that I will try to explain to you in the next class. We will stop here for now. thank you for bearing with me. So this record we did, like, this is twice, this is the third time. The internet connection at my place was bad, but then thank you very much for you people are really magnanimous that you give me an opportunity to talk about Rama. You these people, these things you could have read by yourself. There are much greater people who speak much better beautifully than me. But you giving me the opportunity is my punyam and your magnanimity. So I do pranama to all of you. My pranams to Rama. We will end today's session here, and then we will take up in the next week. ओम यत्र यत्र रघुनाथ कीर्तनं तत्र तत्र कृतमस्तकाञ्जलिं बाष्पवारि परिपूर्णलोचनं मारुतिं नमत राक्षसान्तकम् ओम पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ओम शांति 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 हरि ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरि ओम तत्सत् श्री रामार्पणमस्तु ओम ओके